They appear when you least expect them, staring, waiting, but never getting caught. No footprints, no evidence. Just the feeling that something is watching you from the darkness. For decades, people have reported mysterious clown sightings, figures standing motionless in the dead of night, lurking in the woods, vanishing without a trace. But what if I told you these weren't just pranks? That some of the people who encountered them were never seen again? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just make you question what's real and what's hiding in the shadows. Have you ever felt the sensation of being watched? A creeping feeling that someone or something is lurking just beyond your line of sight, hidden in the shadows, waiting. Now imagine that figure is a clown. Not the cheerful, party-loving kind, but a silent, eerie figure standing alone in the dead of night, motionless, just staring at you. This isn't just a horror story. This is real. This is the terrifying phenomenon known as the Phantom Clown Sightings. It all began in the early 1980s, when reports started pouring in from different parts of the United States. Children claimed that mysterious clowns were attempting to lure them into vans, offering candy, toys, or simply whispering their names from dark alleyways. The strangest part? Every time the police arrived, the clowns were gone. No traces, no evidence. Just terrified children and confused parents. But these sightings were not confined to one city. Soon, they began appearing in different states: Chicago, Boston, Kansas City, even as far as South Carolina. The descriptions were eerily similar: grotesque, painted faces, oversized shoes that made no sound when they moved, and eyes, cold, lifeless, yet watching. The media dubbed them Phantom Clowns because they were never caught, never recorded clearly, and never seemed to leave behind any proof of their existence. But the fear, oh, the fear was very real. Schools issued warnings, parents kept their children indoors, people started seeing clowns everywhere, even when they weren't really there. Was this a mass hysteria? A strange psychological phenomenon where fear spreads like wildfire? Or was something much darker at play? Years passed. The reports faded. People moved on. But then, it happened again. The year the Phantom Clowns returned. Social media exploded with eerie footage of clowns appearing on roadsides and forests, and even outside people's homes. Some wielded knives. Others simply stood there, staring, unblinking for hours. People captured blurry videos of them, vanishing into the darkness. But despite all the sightings, police investigations once again led nowhere. The clowns disappeared like ghosts, leaving behind nothing but terror. Some believed it was an elaborate prank, a sick joke inspired by horror films. Others were convinced that it was something far more sinister, a secret cult, a demonic entity, or an unknown force using the guise of clowns to instill fear. And then, the unexplainable happened. In a small town in Pennsylvania, a young boy named Daniel went missing. Witnesses claimed they saw him talking to a clown in the woods near his home. A search party was formed. Days passed. No sign of Daniel. Then, on the fifth night, his voice was heard. Faint, distant, calling for help. The search team followed the voice deep into the forest, where they found an old, abandoned carnival ground. Rusted rides, torn circus tents. And in the center of it all, a single red balloon tied to a wooden chair. But no Daniel, only silence. The search continued for weeks, but Daniel was never found. After that, the clown sightings dwindled. The reports became less frequent, as if they had found what they were looking for. But the question remains, who or what were these phantom clowns? Were they real people hiding behind the mask of a prank? Or were they something unnatural? And more importantly, are they truly gone? Because even now, in the quietest hours of the night, some people claim to see them, standing alone by the roadside, peering through their windows, waiting in the shadows, watching. And if you ever find yourself walking alone at night and you hear the soft squeak of a clown's shoe behind you, don't turn around. because by the time you do, it might already be too late.